Welcome to the Private Funds Brief for the week of May 25th, 2026. I'm your host. With years covering capital and compliance, I know that getting the regulatory nuance right is your competitive edge. Today, we're unpacking 4 massive legal shifts moving the private markets this week. We're going deep on the mechanics of each so your firm can stay ahead of the curve. Let's get you briefed. We start with a significant shift. The SEC has proposed its most transformative overhaul of registered offerings since 2005. Spearheaded by Chairman Paul Atkins, the proposal aims to aggressively streamline capital formation and slash red tape. First, the SEC is completely overhauling the filer status framework, collapsing complex categories into just 2: large accelerated and non-accelerated filers. The public float threshold to qualify as a large accelerated filer is jumping to $2 billion. Second, the proposal completely eliminates the dreaded baby shelf rule. Historically, this rule restricted companies with under $75 million in public float from selling more than 1/3 of their market cap. Eliminating this gives small-cap issuers immediate access to capital markets when windows open. The biggest news is for BDCs and registered closed-end funds. Previously, these vehicles faced steep hurdles to use short-form shelf registration. This proposal removes the seasoning and public float requirements for using Form N2. This is monumental. It grants smaller BDCs the same offering flexibilities as traditional corporate issuers. Over at the CFPB, relief has arrived for private credit managers and small business lenders. The Bureau released a finalized, narrowed version of its Section 1071 rule. The 2023 version was a nightmare for private debt, mandating massive demographic data collection. This revised 2026 rule represents a major concession after intense litigation. The small business revenue definition dropped from $5 million down to just $1 million. They also raised the reporting threshold from 100 to 1,000 originations per year. This change exempts the vast majority of mid-market private credit funds from the net. The CFPB also stripped out sensitive data points like specific pricing and reasons for loan denial. The uniform compliance date is now locked in for January 1st, 2028. In enforcement news, the SEC just blew the whistle on Foot Locker as a critical warning. The retailer settled for $148,000 for agreements that impeded whistleblower activity. Between 2020 and 2024, 148 departing employees were required to sign waivers, forfeiting bounty awards. The SEC ruled that waiving financial rewards creates a chilling effect and violates Rule 21F-17A. Following the SEC's gag rule rescission, this order omits the without admitting or denying language. For GPs, the takeaway is urgent. Immediately scrub your NDAs and employment contracts. Ensure no clause restricts an individual's right to receive a regulatory bounty. Protecting whistleblower rights is now a critical compliance priority. Finally, the PRA has finalized Basel 3.1 implementation in the UK. For the European private credit industry, this is an absolute gift. The standout feature is the strict application of the 72.5% output floor. Historically, banks used internal models to hold far less capital against their loan books. The new mandate ensures capital requirements don't drop below the standardized floor. As this phases in starting in 2027, lending for many buyouts will become more expensive for banks. As banks retreat, private debt managers are well positioned to capture market share. That's your briefing. For deeper analysis, check out our companion newsletter in your inbox. If you are curious about our services, please visit www.smartesc.ai.